Leave no trace on the Camino. What are the best practices? Please join us as we discuss this important topic. We have all heard the saying about backpacking in the wilderness, leave no trace, but this phrase is applicable to the Camino, but in just a few modified ways. We all want to be that perfect pilgrim, but sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where we're not sure of what to do. In this video, I would like to present some of the more common situations and explain how we can try to be that perfect pilgrim and leave no trace. The first thing we can do is leave no bad impressions with the locals. We are visitors, guests in their country. The major pilgrim season runs from June through August, with a shoulder season mid-May to June, and then again September through mid-October. The rest of the year, life is normal for the village. The cafes and restaurants operate on shortened hours, perhaps even closed for a month or longer. The hotels are relatively empty and operate with a reduced staff. The evening stroll around the town square still happens, but the numbers are considerably reduced. But during the peak season, life is crazy busy for the locals. Let's compare this with something we in the U.S. are very familiar with, Thanksgiving. Let's imagine you're hosting it at your house and you've invited all your friends and relatives and neighbors and so forth. You bring in extra chairs and tables. You pull out all the extra glasses, plates, serving dishes, and so forth. When the day arrives, there's standing room only. You try to take care of everything, but there's so many people and only one of you. This is what it's like for businesses on the Camino during peak pilgrim season. They're overwhelmed. All of their efforts, energy, supplies, even hours in the day are stretched to the limit. They just can't do any more. And it goes on 7 days a week for the entire season. Now let's bring this back to the Camino. So you've been walking all day. It's been a long day. You finally checked into your albergue. You got your shower, cleaned up. Now it's time to go eat. So you select a restaurant. You go in and you find out it's a 45-minute wait to sit down and eat. So you wait that 45 minutes. You're finally seated and you're either presented with a menu or most likely not, but immediately asked, what do you want? They do not have the time for you to peruse the menu, ask how things are prepared, ask if you can substitute this or that. Leaving no trace in this situation is simple. During that 45-minute wait time, look at the menu, make your selections from it with no changes, and be ready to place your order as soon as you're seated. Be quick and efficient in ordering and in eating. Vacate your table as soon as you're finished and leave a positive, grateful pilgrim impression on the restaurant staff. This is the way you can make a positive pilgrim impression. Leaving no trace at your hotel or albergue. Albergues and guest houses provide affordable accommodations for pilgrims, and they often have common spaces that are shared by all. If that common space is a kitchen, be neat in preparing your meal and clean up thoroughly when you've finished. If there was a bit of a mess when you got there, how about assisting them in leaving no trace by cleaning up the mess of your colleagues as well? If the common space is a living room with sofas, tables, library books, again, be polite. Don't put your feet up on the coffee table. If you get a book from the library shelf, when you finish, put it back. If you want to watch a video on your phone, use your earphones. If you want to video talk or just phone someone, leave the room so others don't have to listen to your one-sided conversation. If you're sharing a communal bathroom or shower area, clean up when you finish. If you have a private bathroom, clean that up as well before you check out. The cleaning staff work very hard and very fast to get the facility all cleaned up and ready for the next group of incoming pilgrims. Anything you can do to help them, no matter how small or how big, can help, and it will be greatly appreciated. Little things like when you open that packet of soap, throw away the wrapping in the trash can. If you had a Coke and left a water ring on the bedside table, wipe it up before it dries and becomes difficult to clean off. These are just a few of the many ways you can be a good pilgrim and leave no trace in the albergues and guest houses. Here's another one. Respect the Camino trails, the land, the animals, and the people. As you walk the Camino trails, you pass through property, both private and public. Regardless of who legally owns the land, we as pilgrims must respect all the trails and all the land surrounding them. Not doing so can have severe consequences for property owners, impacting their sense of security, privacy, and enjoyment of their property. If you purposefully or inadvertently cause damage to the property or disrupt its normal use, you will be causing a negative impact on not only the owners, but other pilgrims. The financial burden of repairing any resulting damage, coupled with the emotional distress, makes this disruption a significant concern for property owners, be it private or governmental. If you pass by someone's yard and they have a lovely apple tree with branches hanging over the fence, it's not okay to pick one. But if they're out tending that tree and you comment on how lovely it is and they offer one to you, take it, enjoy it, and express extreme appreciation for their very generous gift. If you're passing by a private vineyard and the grapes look inviting, it's not okay to pick a cluster. This is their crop, their business, their livelihood. I mean, you wouldn't go into a grocery store and pick up grapes and eat them without first paying for them. It's the same thing in the vineyard. If you pass by a couple of horses in the field and they come up to you, it's not okay to feed them an apple or a carrot without permission from the owner. You can scratch their nose or their forehead if they're amenable to this, but don't feed them. The same for dogs and cats. If the owner of a cafe has a dog or a cat and you want to pet the little fur ball of love, ask first. It's usually okay, but always polite to ask. Those of you who are regular viewers of this channel know that I always like to leave you with some sort of music. I try to choose something that sort of goes along with the theme or the subject matter of the video. The theme for this week's video is Leave No Trace. Rather than introduce the music selection, I'm going to sneak off and leave no trace. Sort of like Bond, James Bond. you.